Hello and welcome back to T Junction and shopping here in the West End with me, Tracy McLean Lowe. And as usual, I start up in Oakwood Village. Um, but this week I took a really long walk along St. Clair Avenue West. And mostly because it's time for gardening and I'm a week late doing it. Um, and up near Northcliffe Boulevard, there is a rather nice little convenience store that does plants as well, much like our own here in Oakwood Village. Um, and this is where you can get your annuals from. And while I was walking down the street and going around to all the places and further down towards Winona Avenue on St. Clair West and Hillcrest Village, I kept walking and we walked and we walked, and there were some wonderful places, and it looks really, really pretty this time of the year, being spring. However, as wonderful as these are for our local neighborhoods, they are generally annuals and usually vegetable garden related plants and herbs and spices. Um, which again is great for making the garden look pretty, for growing some of your own resources, for your own salads and veg. But we have in the city a little bit of a problem with our cars, our cyclists, our buses, our trams, and etc., etc. And that's not to say that we don't have problems with them. We're trying to fit everybody together. And I don't think that people really are totally in the city going to want to be without cars. As much as we can put cyclists on the road or more trams and buses or streetcars as they call them here, and we can put that all on, there's a few things that we cannot do without a car. And one of them is travel, just spontaneously, without having to worry about booking and scheduling bus trips, train trips, hotels, etc. These are for those Saturday afternoons, weekend trips out of the city to flea markets elsewhere. Now, yes, we do have these grand things on our doorsteps, but I went to a local while we were out and walking and looking at all the prices, and everything's pretty reasonably priced. We wanted to go and have a look for something bigger. We were specifically looking for things like pawpaw trees and cherry trees and apple trees. And these are things you're not going to find at your local convenience store. Not because they wouldn't want to if they had the space, but that's just it. They lack the space. They lack the absolute facilities that you need to have to hand to maintain these plants and keep them healthy before they are sold. So my friend and I tottered off down to the Summerhill Garden Centre on DuPont and Davenport, just under the bridge, all around about the Casaloma area here in the west. And you needed a car. We couldn't get the things we did buy from them, which were a lot, without catching an Uber or a taxi. And waiting a long period of time in the heat because the traffic was so chock-a-block because everybody was out, as they usually are on these sunny days. So we're constantly going to need cars in the city, and our cyclists and our motorcyclists already know the rules of the road, to relatively keep everybody safe, especially pedestrians and other road users safe. But our cyclists seem to be without a lot of road knowledge. They don't seem to fully understand the complicated rules that apply to vehicles using the road. And your motorcyclists and your drivers, cars, trucks, whatever, they're all there by dint of having licenses, having studied something to actually be there, having done a lot of practice. I mean, I can tell you now that not every single cyclist on the road understands that they need to maintain a 1 meter distance in any direction near a vehicle, and to maintain their sections on the areas where cyclists are denoted to cycle. Again, we are in a city where we have our cyclists and our shoppers and everybody blending in together. And not all our roads are able to facilitate the kind of things that I see here behind me, which is a rather oversized roundabout. This works maybe something like in Milton Keynes, where they've got large roundabouts, everybody's going around a roundabout. And then to the side, they have them under bridges and through parks. So the cyclists are away from the traffic, and there's no cars and trucks, and the pedestrians and everybody's at a slightly lower level. Of course, that stops us having the glory of wandering past our beautiful stores, especially in summer. We like to see the pretty flowers. We like to see the colourful roads. And it was so busy. The coffee shops were busy. The gelato shops were busy. Anything with an outside patio was busy, because this is patio season. And yes, we do need to sort out our transport. TTC is fixing up half the roads around the city, trying to make new routes and extend areas that have since been underserved in the city and its surrounds, closer to the waterfronts, which is always pretty at this time of the year. We'll have to get down there, but that is on the east, and I'd need a whole day, week, month just in St. Lawrence Market. So the point is, we need to find good ways to be on our roads, safe ways to go to our shops. And while we have a lot of facilities, there are some things that we just can't do. So we're going to have to find compromises. But in the case of drivers, I would suggest, if you're local, that Tony's driving school, which is on Oakwood Avenue at the corner of Rogers Road, I've been, well, most of my lessons were through COVID, so it was a bit of hit and miss as when we could actually go out in the car. And I've recently managed to get my G2 through Tony's driving school. Well, they did the lessons, I did the driving, and we went off and did it, and I passed. So if you're looking to get a set of wheels, or even just to hire a car just so you can get out of the city for a weekend, go and take lessons. At 60 years old, me with my G2, we had to renew it, not because I was a bad driver. It's just I moved so much from one country to another. And talking of being on the move, the walk, again, was absolutely lovely. And we went down, as we were down and around there, looking for some place to find a seat so we could have something to drink. We found a Chocolatte, and that is on St. Clair West Avenue on the south side, up near, I think it's just past Wychwood Barnes. Let's get Wychwood Barnes going up towards Vaughan Road. So do take a break on this wonderful Victoria Day weekend and pop in sometime to Chocolatte and have coffee, iced teas. What was a very berry smoothie? They do them too, and a few tasty treats to eat, cookies and things. We could always do some of those. And that is it from me this week. I am Tracy McLean Lowe. This is T Junction. Please like and subscribe, and I'll be back in person when the zit the size of Australia has removed itself from my visage. Thank you and good night.